how did you gain the confidence to step out and start doing this? And I think we've all done this in a different order. So whoever wants to go first, how did you start to tackle all these things that we didn't know anything about?
Well, one of the best things that I did from a learning of marketing especially was to work with a business coach. And I worked with this person for 3 or 4 years, and I learned so much about the online world and marketing. I knew, and when it came to the other things like SEO or forming an LLC, I knew the right people to ask how to do that, and to hook me up with resources. So, one of the things I'm very good at is asking the questions. I'm not very good at asking for help in a lot of ways, but when it comes to something like that, where my financial future is on the line, I'm okay with that. So, but really having that mentor who could just kind of walk me through the next step and talk me off the ledge every time I got ready to say, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm just going to go get a job. And she'd be like, nope, hold up. Let's break it down, because that usually is the problem. It's the overwhelm that we let ourselves get into because we're trying to see the whole picture instead of the next step.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
How about you, Sue?
Yeah, so being 5 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
Best advice ever. Somebody said as long as you're 5 minutes ahead, you're pretty much qualified to help others. Not to say that I haven't done all these things. I just took the next step, and I did ask the questions, and I had a business coach also, so that helped me with the aspects that I was not comfortable with. I knew I had the passion. I knew I was somewhat clear on what I wanted my vision to be. I was able to funnel that down and get clearer and clearer on my vision, and then to be able to learn from others how to do the things. What do I need to do next? Do I need to form an LLC? What type of insurance do I need to have? Setting up the bank account. You can get a lot of that from books, and that takes me it takes me about 3 months to read a book.
Speed reader.
So that probably I'd still be reading books if I hadn't allowed somebody to, or signed up and had somebody help me along the path. So just being there and helping others. I want to help people. You want to help people. And asking people, I am floored how willing people are to help you.
Yes.
If you just ask the
all
question.
sorts of levels that are willing to help.
Holy cow. And so that's been huge. So we don't need, when I was going through pharmacy school, I was like, you know what, this is really about knowing where to find the information to answer the question. And that's really helped me in my business, because if it's something I'm not familiar with, I either go look it up or Google it or whatever, and then find people who are experts in that field to help me.
It's a great point.
Yeah.
I know when I was thinking about it, and it was a scary thing to think about leaving academia and start my own business, because there's security and tenure and promotion. Well, there's the paycheck piece, but there's the being in the academy and working your way up, and to walk away from all of that was a big decision. And so my stake in the ground, and I am going to do this, was opening the bank account in a business name. That was my first thing, and I felt like at that point I had made some sort of commitment, and then the bank said, we can't open this unless you have a tax ID number. And I'm like,
where do I get that?
And then in my case, that meant forming an LLC, and I am cheap. And so I looked, and lawyers will do that for you, and it's pretty expensive. And so I went online, or not online, I went into my state office, and I was looking at what it would take, and it was not that complicated. And so I got the application, I gathered the information I needed. I knew how much my check needed to be written for. In order to get this, I found the address of the office, and one of the most fun things was I took one of my children with me. So we voyaged downtown Baltimore until we found the right place. I didn't even know this building existed, and we worked our way to the right floor, and we got in line with a whole bunch of other people starting every kind of business you can imagine. And then we just took it one step at a time and did what they asked us to do until next thing you know, I walked out with a sheet of paper that had my tax ID number. It was the most exciting thing. And I would say every step has been like that. Another important step was I thought I knew Baltimore. I thought I knew the resources that were available. That was my job in the School of Pharmacy. But I met a woman that was a geriatric, at the time they were called geriatric care managers. Now they're called life care managers. And met with her at the top level of our Wegmans grocery store, which is a place you can walk in and meet for free and you're overlooking people buying their groceries. But she introduced me to her entire network panel, places she goes to network with other people that provide any sort of service to senior adults. And from there, I met people who introduced me to people, who introduced me to people that opened doors. It's just been this ongoing, really fun ride.